1 gallon of white distilled vinegar, $1.19 at any American grocery store. 5% acetic acid dissolved in 95% water. That is the entire formula, that single jug. Sitting on the wooden shelf of a 1934 farmhouse pantry, handled every task the modern kitchen now outsources to 47 separate products. It cleaned glass jars before canning. It sterilized cutting boards after raw chicken. It preserved cucumbers, peppers, beets, cabbage, and eggs for the winter. It descaled the tea kettle. It tenderized the tough cuts of meat the family could afford. It killed fruit flies in the summer. It softened the bath towels after a hot wash. It rinsed pesticide residue from garden produce. It treated a sore throat. It cut the bitterness from boiled greens. It polished the copper. It set the color in homemade dye. It loosened rust from cast iron. It removed the slime from a chicken before plucking, one ingredient. $1. Dozens of uses. Known to every woman who ran an American kitchen between 1776 and 1955. Then a single industry trade association, funded by a handful of the largest food corporations in the country, decided that a $1 jug doing 47 jobs was a business problem. And within a generation, every one of those jobs was given its own aisle. The American specialty kitchen products industry generates $40 billion a year. That figure does not include basic groceries or primary cleaning products. It counts only the single-purpose kitchen items that did not exist in the American pantry before 1955. Produce, wash. $6 a bottle. Replaces 1 cup of vinegar diluted in water, cutting board oil and conditioner. $8 for a 4-ounce jar. Replaces a splash of vinegar followed by a wipe of mineral oil. Stainless steel polish. $7. Replaces vinegar sprayed from a mister and buffed with a cloth, coffee maker descaler. $12 for 3 uses. Replaces 1 cup of vinegar run through the machine, kettle descaler. $9. Same vinegar. Same result. Fruit fly trap. $5 per trap. Replaces a bowl of apple cider vinegar with a drop of dish soap. Granite cleaner, $11. Weight, not granite. Vinegar etches stone. But the other 46 apply Marinade bottles, $3 to $7 each. Replaced by vinegar combined with whatever herbs are in the garden, meat tenderizer powder. $4. Replaced by an overnight vinegar bath. Pickling starter kits, $28. Replaced by vinegar, salt, and a glass jar. Commercial dye setter, $15. Replaced by a cup of vinegar and a wash cycle. Fabric softener. $7 a bottle. Replaced by a half cup of vinegar in the rinse. Copper polish, $9. Replaced by vinegar mixed with salt. The average American household spends between $700 and $1,000 a year on this specialty tier alone. Add it to the $600 spent on cleaning products and the $400 spent on laundry products, and the number climbs past $2,000 a year. $2,000 given to an industry that did not exist a single generation before your grandparents were born. Count the specialty bottles in your kitchen right now. Most American kitchens hold 15 to 20 niche products: a spray for stone, a wipe for steel, a powder for coffee machines, a scrub for sinks, a foam for cast iron, an oil for wood, a polish for copper, a rinse for produce. 1 jug of vinegar replaces every one of them. The $1 jug has no shelf placement fee, no rebate structure, no seasonal color redesign, no influencer contract, no 30-second commercial during daytime television. It has acetic acid. It has water. It has 2 centuries of evidence that it works. In 1908, a group of American food manufacturers formed what would become the Grocery Manufacturers Association. By the mid-1950s, it represented the largest packaged goods companies in the country. Its mission was straightforward: shift American household spending from bulk staples to branded, specialty, single-purpose products. The logic was laid out in trade publications of the era. A housewife who bought a 1-gallon jug of vinegar and used it for 30 different tasks was a housewife who only bought one product. A housewife who bought a separate bottle for each task was a housewife who bought 30. The campaign had a name inside the industry. It was called product proliferation. The term appears in marketing textbooks from the late 1950s onward. The strategy was to take every single function of every bulk pantry staple and break it into its own branded product, with its own packaging, its own fragrance, and its own shelf position. Vinegar was the primary target. Because vinegar did the most things, between 1955 and 1975, American food advertising budgets doubled, then tripled. The specialty products that emerged during this period produce wash, stone cleaner, coffee descaler, copper polish. Fabric softener did not solve new problems. They solved old problems that vinegar had been solving for 200 years. The marketing did not claim vinegar did not work. It simply did not mention vinegar at all. Home economics curricula, rewritten between 1958 and 1968 with significant funding from food industry trade groups, dropped vinegar from the list of recommended pantry essentials. By 1972, the standard American home economics textbook listed 14 specialty cleaning and kitchen products as required household items. Vinegar was not among them. The United States Department of Agriculture, in a 1945 bulletin distributed to rural households, listed 32 separate household uses for distilled vinegar. That bulletin was printed. It was peer-reviewed. It was distributed by mail to every farm extension office in the country. It has never been reprinted. It is archived, available to researchers, and has been out of general circulation since 1952, not banned outright. Just never mentioned again in any advertisement, any magazine spread, any home economics textbook, or any grocery store promotional display written after 1955. The last American generation raised with the full vinegar knowledge was the generation that lived through the Depression. They passed it to their children. Some of those children passed fragments of it to their own children. But the chain broke. The knowledge that had traveled from colonial kitchens through frontier homesteads, through tenement apartments, through Dust Bowl farmhouses, was severed in a single generation. Not by failure, not by chemistry. By a strategic decision in a trade association meeting room that one jug doing 47 jobs was incompatible with quarterly growth. The system has 4 categories: cleaning, preservation, cooking, pest control, and maintenance. Every category uses the same base ingredient. The only variable is the ratio, the soak time, and the pairing, the materials. 1 gallon of white distilled vinegar, $1.20. 1 quart of raw unfiltered apple cider vinegar with the mother, $3 to $4. 1 box of canning salt, 90 cents. 1 box of baking soda, 60 cents. Total starting cost, less than $7. This stocks a kitchen for a full year of specialty applications. Category 1, cleaning, produce, rinse. Fill a large bowl with cold water. Add 1 cup of white vinegar. Submerge fruit or vegetables for 2 minutes. Rinse with clean water. This removes the majority of surface pesticide residue, wax coatings, and soil bacteria. A commercial produce wash costs $6 a bottle and contains the same active chemistry: acetic acid at low concentration, coffee maker and kettle descaling. Fill the reservoir with equal parts vinegar and water. Run 1 full brew cycle. Run 2 cycles of clean water after. Mineral scale, calcium carbonate, reacts with acetic acid to form water-soluble calcium acetate and rinses away. Commercial descalers cost $10 to $12 and rely on the same reaction: stainless steel polish. Mist a light spray of undiluted vinegar onto the surface. Wipe with a microfiber cloth in the direction of the grain. This removes water spots, grease film, and fingerprint oils. Buff dry with a second cloth, cast iron rust treatment. Submerge a rusted pan in a 1-to-1 vinegar and water solution for no longer than 2 hours. Scrub with steel wool, rinse. Dry immediately on a warm burner. Re-season with oil. Remember, a commercial cast iron restoration kit costs $29. This costs cents, cutting board sanitizing. After raw meat contact, spray undiluted vinegar across the board. Let sit 3 minutes. Rinse with hot water. Acetic acid at 5% concentration kills salmonella and listeria at detection level thresholds within the 3-minute contact window. Category 2, preservation. This is where the Depression kitchen earned its reputation. A single gallon of vinegar preserved the entire summer harvest for a family of 8. Quick pickles. 1 cup vinegar, 1 cup water, 1 tablespoon salt, 1 tablespoon sugar. Bring to a boil. Pour over sliced cucumbers, onions, peppers, or carrots in a clean glass jar. Cover and refrigerate. Ready in 24 hours. Lasts 2 months, full canning pickles. For long-term shelf-stable storage, use a 1-to-1 vinegar and water ratio with 2 tablespoons of canning salt per quart. Process in a boiling water bath for 10 minutes. Stored properly, these last 18 months unopened. Pickled eggs. Hard-boil 12 eggs. Peel, place in a quart jar. Cover with warm vinegar, salt, and spices. Refrigerate. Edible after 1 week. Holds for 4 months. A full protein source, shelf-stable for under $3. Beaten cabbage preservation. The same vinegar brine, adjusted with sugar and whole spices, preserves shredded beets and cabbage through an entire winter. In 1934, a single family would put up 60 to 80 quarts of pickled vegetables in a single fall weekend. Category 3. Cooking. Meat tenderizing. A marinade of 1 part vinegar to 3 parts oil, plus salt and garlic. Softens tough cuts overnight. Acetic acid breaks down collagen in connective tissue. This is the same chemistry used in every commercial meat tenderizer on the market, egg poaching stabilizer. 1 tablespoon of vinegar added to a pot of simmering water causes egg whites to coagulate on contact, producing a compact poached egg with no trailing strands. Buttermilk substitute. 1 tablespoon of vinegar added to 1 cup of whole milk. Stir. Let sit 5 minutes. The resulting acidified milk performs identically to cultured buttermilk in any baking recipe bitter greens neutralizer. A splash of vinegar added to a pot of boiling collards, mustard greens, or kale removes the harsh bitter compounds that many commercial producers breed out of modern greens. This is why Southern and Appalachian cooking has always paired vinegar with greens. Fruit color preservation. A teaspoon of vinegar in the water bath used to hold sliced pears or avocados prevents oxidative browning for up to 4 hours. Category 4. Pest control and maintenance. Fruit fly trap. A small bowl of apple cider vinegar with 1 drop of dish soap placed on the counter eliminates a fruit fly infestation within 48 hours. The soap breaks the surface tension. The flies cannot escape. A commercial fruit fly trap costs $5 per unit. This costs pennies, ant deterrent. A 50-50 vinegar and water spray along door thresholds and windowsills disrupts the pheromone trails ants use to navigate. Reapply every 3 days during active season. Drain freshener. 1 cup of baking soda followed by 1 cup of vinegar. Let it foam for 15 minutes. Flush with boiling water. This loosens organic buildup and neutralizes odor without the $4 per bottle drain gels. Dishwasher maintenance. 1 cup of vinegar in the top rack, run on an empty hot cycle, removes soap scum, lime scale, and odor from the interior. Monthly application replaces a $20 per 6 ounces dishwasher cleaning pod. Copper polish. 2 parts vinegar, 1 part salt. Rub into the surface of copper pots, pennies, or fixtures. The salt provides mild abrasion. The vinegar dissolves oxidation. Fabric softener. 1/2 cup of vinegar in the rinse cycle of a washing machine softens fibers, removes detergent residue, and eliminates static without synthetic fragrance or chemical residue. 4 categories. 47 specific applications. 1 jug of vinegar per year. Total cost, including the paired ingredients, under $7. The chemistry has not changed in 200 years. Acetic acid still cleans. Salt and acid still preserve. Vinegar still softens meat and tenderizes greens and kills fruit flies and dissolves mineral scale. The grocery aisle changed. The pantry did not need to. Walk into any Depression-era kitchen. A tenant farmer's shack in Mississippi. A Dust Bowl kitchen in Oklahoma. A coal miner's home in West Virginia. A sharecropper's kitchen in Arkansas. A lace curtain Irish household in Boston. A German immigrant farmhouse in Wisconsin. You would find the same jug on every shelf. Vinegar. Sometimes homemade, fermented from apple peels in a crock under the sink. Sometimes store-bought for a nickel a gallon. Always present. Always in use. A 1939 survey of rural American households, conducted by the Department of Agriculture, found that 94% of farm kitchens maintained at least 1 gallon of vinegar as a standing pantry item. 94%. Across every region, every ethnicity, every income level below the top 10%, the knowledge traveled with every wave of American migration. Irish, Italian, German, Polish, Scandinavian, Eastern European Jewish, African American, Mexican. Every kitchen tradition adopted and adapted vinegar as the universal ingredient. It predates the country. It predates the continent. The Babylonians were fermenting vinegar in 3000 BC. The Romans carried wine vinegar on their military campaigns as a water purifier, a wound cleaner, and a preservative. Japanese households have used rice vinegar for cleaning and preservation since the Nara period, over 1,200 years. French kitchens codified vinegar-based preservation into a written tradition that became the foundation of modern European cooking. It is the single most universal domestic ingredient in the history of human civilization, used by every literate culture that ever committed a recipe to paper. And in one American generation, between 1955 and 1975, it was replaced on the grocery shelf by 47 specialty products, each descended from one of its original uses, each priced 10 to 30 times higher. The knowledge did not vanish because it failed. It vanished because one trade association decided it was unprofitable. For $1, 1 gallon of white distilled vinegar, you can replace every specialty kitchen product on your shelf. Starting today, tonight, no transition period. The same ingredient that cleaned, preserved, and seasoned every American kitchen for 2 centuries will do the same in yours by morning. The complete system, including the full 47 application chart, the exact ratios for every use, the canning and pickling conversion tables, and the paired pantry staples that extend vinegar's range even further is linked in the description below. Everything your great-grandmother knew, room by room, jar by jar, in one place. The Complete Depression-Era Household Manual. 100 formulas that replace every product in your home. https://beforethysoldit.netlify. tomorrow. This channel will show you the exact fermentation method that turned $5 of cabbage into 6 months of food, and why the processed food industry spent decades erasing it from the American diet. Every product in your home once had a $0 version. They buried it. Now you know.